Okay. So going way, 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 way back, the very first summer I went to, student painter seminar, um, the sales process they taught was called need satisfaction sales. And what we do now is the same to a certain degree, but there's a little bit of a hybrid that we've built onto it now for today's day and age. But where need satisfaction sales came from, Xerox initially had the patent on photocopying, and a patent's only good for 7 years. So 5 years into the process, Xerox figured it out. You know what? We better get a killer sales team going because all these companies are going to be coming into the market at the 7 year mark. We want to retain some market share. So there's a consulting company called the Huthwaite Group, and they commissioned the Huthwaite Group, and the Huthwaite Group went out and talked to, I want to say it was 1,000 sales professionals, folks making six figures selling, and broke down their process. What are they doing? How are they doing it? And they came to the realization that it was all about relational need satisfaction selling. And there's a process you go through in need satisfaction selling, identifying the need, developing the need, showing the solutions. Back in the day, they would talk about summarizing the benefits. Now we've kind of changed that to more reversing. As opposed to spewing features and benefits, it's more of a reverse to get them to tell you that, yeah, you what you're talking about doing fits what we're looking for. And then great, that sounds good. Let's move forward. Now, I'll use that in what I did with Brian with building the valet business. We would go into those hospitals and we would ask them straight up, might not be the case with you guys, but typically the valet is a 2 to 4 year contract. Would that be the case with you guys? They'd say, yep, we've got 2 year deal. It's up at this point. Okay, great. If there was three things those guys could be doing better for you, I know they're good. I'm sure they're doing a really good job. They've been here for a while. If there's three things that could be doing better for you, what would those things be? And now they went from like, hey, Zach's car parking are our boys, to now thinking about those three things. And now I send them down the pain funnel, right? They're going down the pain funnel. How long has that been a problem? Oh, okay.
Well, that's so interesting. The thing that I love about it, and forgive me for cutting you off, the thing that I love about it is you've 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 planted the seed of possibility that there's a problem, but you haven't done anything other than just point at where the problem would be if there is one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, there's opportunities to be better in almost every situation, always.
Mm-hmm.
And just by asking that really simple question, using the reversing technique to ask the question, you've gotten them to think about the things that are negative without you yourself having to be negative.
Right. If I come in there and say, yeah, they probably smoke and then jump in the client's car, so it smells like smoke in the car, or they lose car keys, or their uniform looks like crap. So if I start spewing all that stuff, I'm just a
Defensive.
sales guy. I'm just a
Well,
sales
and
guy.
it
Right.
and it puts them on the back foot because they're like,
Right.
well, I'm spending money on that. Don't come tell me that I'm spending money like a dumbass because
I don't want to know that my guys
that's stuff.
suck. You guys probably suck.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
so you know what? If there's three things they could be doing better for you, what would those three things be? And then once we start going down the pain funnel, we just start offering solutions, right? Like, hey, you know what? I don't know if this will work here, but we're parking at the DMC right now. At the DMC, we use something like this. I don't know if that'd be a fit for the situation you told me, but and then you don't really say anything, and then they'll pick it up and start talking, right? So then once you
Right.
get to that part of that process, and you get to where the contract's up for renegotiation and bidding, then you basically start asking questions to, because the last thing you want to do is a thing called quoting and hoping. You don't want to just throw a number in there and hope for the best. You want to ask, hey, I know you guys have been using Z's parking for the last 2 years. What kind of budget numbers were you used to working with there? How much was the guy that's just sitting in the booth taking the tickets? What's the hourly on that typically right now? And what are the actual drivers? What are those right now? Because, we want to try and keep you in a similar situation. And a lot of times they'll tell you exactly what the numbers are. Then you just ask. So if I were to go back to my office, submit a proposal that gave you those same numbers, and I know the three things we talked about was this, and this. So I'm going to address those in my proposal. If I were to submit that, what do you think would happen next? It's reverse, right? What do you think would happen next?
So you let them write the story,
And then we go one step further. I know you love Z. He's been here for 2 years. Not to talk through them talking to their incumbent about, because the incumbent's going to come back swinging the bat, right? When you talk to them, it's going to be a hard conversation. And then you let them talk.
Right. Yeah.
And if you've done a good enough job with the pain funnel, they're ready to go. But sometimes they're not ready to go. There has to be enough pain. People don't make a change unless there's pain. Sometimes for pleasure too. Pain and pleasure are the big motivators, right?
Two sides of the same
coin. But in those situations, a lot of times it's around pain.
Right.
But of course, you uncover those through asking questions. Going back to the beginning, we talked about action sales. What's the need? What's not being done right now that you guys need? Here's how we're going to do it. Let's get it done.